So the state of Project Blue Sky. What on earth is taking so long? Why can't we just finish this build already? Well, because we don't have the graphics card blocks yet. Aqua Tuning is having a few issues with the shipping. They sent them out. I do have the tracking numbers, so they will be here more than likely next week, in which case I won't receive them until next Thursday, and that's because I'll be out of town for Mardi Gras weekend. So yeah, we're gonna have an extra delay just because of the holiday here in Louisiana. But apart from that, everything else should be good to go. Obviously, when I get the graphics card blocks installed, I'll be able to finish the tubing runs from the reservoir to the blocks, and then from the blocks to the CPU block. Now, speaking of the CPU block, check this thing out. It's an ice block, just like this one here, except this one has a nice metallic blue hue on top of it, and this is thanks to Mod My Mods. I want you guys to check them out in the video description. They just wanted to do this because they thought that it would make Project Sky, Blue Sky, look even better, and I really think it does, so check this out. The lighter blue matches these, I'll get to these in a second, but the darker blue trim here on these cables that Tony made us match almost perfectly with this block. Same with the darker trim up there as well. So we're going to replace this block, and yeah, just check that out. I like the subtle blue being thrown into Blue Sky. Obviously that kind of works out that way. But yeah, so this block is really cool. I like the little white logo. You can actually replace these. So they have a mod kit for the Ice Block XPX, and so I went ahead and put the white logo in there as well to obviously match the few white accents within the PC. And then the other thing that I want to show you guys, the other things really, are these actually very versatile backplates. Now these backplates are from Hassan over at V1 Tech. I know you've heard of them before. Their website is also in this video's description. They make a bunch of custom gear, just stuff that you can purchase to make your rig look even better than it probably already does. And all that's included, I mean, the mounting system is very rudimentary, but that's what's so cool about it. 4 integrated magnets. I know the camera's having a serious problem focusing right now. Those reflections. This is a glossy finish here on these backplates. But those integrated magnets just mount to the 4 screws that surround the GPU, and boom, there you go. You've installed a backplate. Well, on top of your backplate, if you already have one, you can also just mount it directly over the PCB and you'll be good to go. So you can see I've got one on each graphics card, and the sky blue trim here matches almost perfectly the cables that Tony made us again. So we have something complementing the lighter blue, and then we also have something complementing the darker blue, the custom ice block from Mod My Mods. Now another piece to this puzzle, Rgb Trident Z Ddr4. I am going to make it look just like this color right here, this ice blue, and you'll see why here in a second, but all the cool kids are using Rgb Trident Z all of a sudden, and G-Skill said they'd send over a, what is this, 32 gig kit? I think it's a 32 gig kit. So yeah, we'll occupy the same 4 spaces that these are. These are exactly the same, except these don't have the RGB integration, just that white trim on top. Now 2 other things I want to show you, the 2 Mayhems dies that I purchased for the Alpha Cool coolant that you saw in part 1. This is the UV Ice Blue from Mayhems. The cool thing about this coolant is that it's completely clear. I mean, you can't tell that it's actually colored when you don't have a UV light on it. So this is a UV strip right here. I've got it jumped from a 24 pin on a power supply, and this is just a little vial I made. And we're gonna drop the coolant in, and you're gonna see what color it is with the UV light on. So I'm gonna turn this off. Now the strip looks a bit bluer in the camera's lens than it does in real life through human eyes, because the camera picks up a different range of frequencies. So it'll look a little different, but for the most part, you can already see it glowing right there. That's the color of the coolant. It's called Ice Blue. As I was saying, because this is UV reactant, if I unplug the UV strip, all the color goes away. Looks like clear water. Just something to keep in mind. It's not going to be light blue like this all the time, only when the PC is on. Now the other color I have is the blue dye for my hands. This is non-UV reactant, so I'm gonna kind of experiment around with this. I might throw some regular blue dye in with the ice blue UV just so there is some kind of color there when the computer is off. What I will do though is mix both here, just so you can get an idea what this dye looks like. See, this is much, much darker than the ice blue. Curious what it looks like that plugged in. You can see the fluid is so dense now. I've put so much of the dye in there that I'm twisting this around and the blue dye really isn't moving much. But yeah, so we'll kind of play around with both of these, find something that looks good all the time. I'm actually liking this combo right here. And then we'll take whatever we finalize and throw that into the final product. So that's it, folks. I do apologize for the part 4 delay. It's why I made this video, to explain what the heck is going on, and also to showcase a few other things that have made their way into the studio since part 3. So the water block from Mod My Mods, the V1 Tech backplates, the RGB RAM, as well as the Mayhem's die, which all of that, I think, when it all comes together, should make Project Blue Sky look pretty dang dope. What do you think? One other thing that I want to mention, you guys were talking about how this is like orangish on one side. Well, on this side it's black. So the tops of the fins are painted, but the bottoms aren't, and that's to allow the heat to dissipate without being impeded by any paint on the fin. So that's just straight up copper there that you're looking at. If you have any other questions, leave those in the comments. This is Salazar Studio. Thanks for learning with us.